Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CM Trading. Today's October 29th, 2019. And today is Tuesday morning. So looking at the major economic events of the day, just one event coming out of the United States at 4 o'clock South African time. Consumer confidence number coming out. Now, this is a major number, and it's coming during a time of the year where there's a lot of corporate earnings. A lot of major companies are coming out with earning reports for their quarterly. And also, this Friday, we have NFPs. So this number, although in a nutshell is very important, it is coming out with a lot of other news. So just be aware that this number is coming out. Now, looking at the market, South African Rand retraces back on support after it failed to make the bounce. And we're looking at the Dow Jones making a rally yesterday to 27,100-ish level. We'll take a look at that. And the reason I call it somewhat of a rally is because it should have gone even higher. We'll take a look at that and we'll see why. Gold sells off to 1490-ish level after making its fake out breakout. We spoke about this the other day. And oil retraces as well at resistance, and we're going to take a look at that. And looking at the stocks, Microsoft gaps up and makes all-time new highs for the year at $144 a share. Now, Apple also making new highs for the year at $249 a share, close to my target of $250 a share. And lastly, looking at Bitcoin, after China announces that it's going to adopt blockchain, it remains steady after rallying 2,000 points. But let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So we generally review the Euro USD, and I'm going to just jump into it just previously before we actually go into the South African Rand. We're looking at bouncing off of the support level yesterday, and we mentioned this at 1079-ish level, and it jumped above it, but it does look like it's going to challenge it once more. Now, if it does break this level at 1079, I do expect it to actually retrace further and break down to the 1020-ish level. This is a previous resistance, subsequent support. So with that said, this is where I would assume today would take this with the Euro USD. However, jumping into the Rand, okay, it looks like it's breaking that support level, and it's actually breaking it with some momentum. Now, if it does continue to break this down below this 1450, we could see it retrace back to 1423-ish level. That's my target there. Okay, so if it does continue retracing, failed this bounce, okay, and if it does continue retracing, I could see it go down to 1420-ish level, getting stronger versus the USD. Now, let's take a look at the commodities. First, looking at gold. You saw this really nice fake out breakout. This is what I spoke about last week, hitting 1515 and previous resistance, okay? And with that said, it just retraced a nosedive, okay? But we haven't broken out of this, range between this 1480-ish level and 1515. We're still at this 1493. So for all intents and purposes, we're really unchanged in the price of gold. Now, why? Okay, the Dow Jones getting stronger. A lot of US stocks are getting stronger. Why isn't the gold selling off? Now, remember, on the back of our back burner in the news, we still have US and China coming out to some sort of trade agreement. And until that actually irons out, I think that gold will continue to hover around these areas, even though the markets are still very, very strong. Okay, so with that said, that's what I would expect with gold for now, to still be very choppy and trading within this area as we close into that date where US and China actually come out with some sort of resolution to their trade agreement. Now we're jumping into the price of oil right here, and you could see that we retrace at this $56.76-ish level, and we're right there on the moving average. Now I believe we'll still continue trading within this range, okay, between the 54.85 and 56-ish level, okay. We do have crude inventory numbers coming out tomorrow, so unless there's any surprises, I do believe that we'll continue trading within this range, which is beautiful because you could really take advantage of the fact that it's just trading within the range. So let's jump into the Dow Jones, trading at 27,046 right now. And you can see we're about 300 points off of our all-time highs, while stocks are making all-time highs. So this is a little bit frustrating, okay? The Dow Jones is not breaking out higher. The S&P is making all-time highs, okay? The S&P 500, which represents 500 of the largest companies in the United States. However, the Dow Jones isn't, okay? The NASDAQ did make all-time highs. So with that said, okay, or back to its all-time highs. So with that said, there's a little bit of a rotation in the markets. And what has been the go-getter, okay, JP Morgan, is now being shifted to Microsoft. Microsoft making all-time highs at 144. You could see this big gap up, okay? And I did mention this last week that it looked like it was going to gap up, had a previous gap up and go, okay? And then it really took it up from 140 up to 144. Now, what was previous resistance is subsequent support. This 144 could be potentially a resistance area, support level, excuse me, if it does decide to retrace. I believe it may be a gap and go, okay? Because if we look at some of the other major companies like Apple, it continues to make all-time highs. Look at that, 248. And just a couple of weeks ago, we were trading about $220 a share, okay? So really a beautiful move for Apple computers. And this is major companies, guys, okay? These are the largest companies in the entire world, and they're making all-time highs. So this is really very important, and it really is very, very significant, okay? Lastly, looking at JP Morgan, before we jump into Bitcoin, it's trading 126. We're tracing a little bit, pairing off some of those gains, but still nothing compared to how much it's rallied, okay? Lastly, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin making this massive move the other day on this fact that China is going to be adopting some of these blockchains. Now it's trading at 9,427. Just remember your parameters, okay? This is your resistance area, 998, okay? 9,900 and 9,000 is your support level. So as long as we're trading within those two areas, I believe it will continue being. We're smack in the middle of that. So, you know, a buy signal as it gets closer to the bottom range, or a sell signal as it gets closer to the top range. This is Fred Razak, and we wish everybody a great trading day. Thank you.